apparently, when Fox announced that Ohio State and Texas, they own the rights to that game, to television rights, the University of Ohio State University, the Ohio State University athletic department made a appeal to Fox to move this game to prime time and or move it to Sunday night so that they could put this thing on prime time. Unfortunately, it sounds like Texas says no dice. They are blocking that game from being moved to a primetime spot. They want to play at noon. And I don't blame them for wanting to play this game at noon, to be completely honest with you. Ohio Stadium at noon is not the same as it is under the lights. I can attest to that, having been there a bunch of times myself. This game under the lights would be frothy, to say the least. At noon, I'm a little worried. I ain't gonna lie, and so I completely get why Texas wants to do this. But at the same time, I've got to ask the question, guys: is this super soft by the Longhorns? Strez, you're our guest, my man. Why don't you address this from your perspective first?
Yeah, I think I actually think it's pretty crazy that they would veto a primetime game when they have a chance. The thing going into this Texas game that I am nervous about, right? We've got a new quarterback. We've got younger guys on the defense this season. We still have Jeremiah Smith. We still have Caleb Downs. We still have the best players in the country on the team. So that's like, we'll be fine as long as we've got those two guys. But when we're playing against a team that's out for blood, out for revenge, I'm sure there's still plenty enough guys on this team in Texas that are, have that nasty taste in their mouth. And it was shocking to me to see that they didn't want that shot to take place in the primetime slot when the entire country was there to watch and see the game and see what Arch Manning is going to be able to do, see what this new look Texas offense is going to do. I was shocked by it, and I don't know if it's soft. Definitely feels soft, at least soft adjacent. But yeah, it was actually shocking to me whenever I read that article when that came out the other day.
Cory, your thoughts, my man?
I think Strez said it right. Stop adjacent for sure. But I get the strategy behind it. If they hadn't lost to us in the playoff last year in prime time, I think possibly they have a change of mind on this. Maybe it's different. Maybe it's not a lose situation. But if they lose to us again in prime time, it just looks like we own them at that point, right? So then that hurts in other ways across. I know understand NIL is huge and all that, but it still hurts a little bit in recruiting and things like that. It still hurts some prestige a little bit and things like that. It hurts the narrative that Sark has the team on the upswing and they're coming back. It probably hurts their confidence a little bit going back and going to the SEC the rest of the year. Not to say they can't lose at noon, but I don't know. Losing in the middle of the day, not quite the same impact as 8 p.m. at night, all alone on a Sunday, no less. So strategically, I totally get what they're doing, and I think it's smart on their part. Maybe soft adjacent, but smart on their part. A story goes of Sugar Ray Leonard kind of dodging Marvin Hagler for years, and he had dinner with Marvin, and Marvin said, "Oh, I'm beat up after that last fight," and then Sugar Ray Leonard said, "Now it's time to fight him." I mean, it's you call it whatever you want. Strategically, it makes sense and it's smart. So I can understand where Texas is coming from. As much as I want to trash talk, if Ohio State played the same gamesmanship about Texas, I think okay, I kind of get where they're coming from.
All right, Chris. As Amika likes to call you, Grumpy Cat. I'm sure you're going to have a grumpy response here.
Gutless cowards. Gutless cowards. You have the Heisman favorite. You have one of the betting favorites to win the national title. What better way to get this season off on the right foot than to play it in prime time for the whole nation to see? If you are as good, if your quarterback is as good as advertised, then you should be wanting to show it in prime time so everyone can see it. Now, that being said, they're gutless cowards, but they are the smartest bunch of gutless cowards you'll ever see. I'm going to tell you right now, Texas is a team used to playing in hot temperatures. Hot August in Ohio, I think favors Texas. Even though Ohio State plays in it as well, Texas does it week in and week out. You look at the reduced number of tailgates, because let's face it, Eric, you and I have been there. The tailgating isn't as tense. You aren't drinking. We don't have a bunch of drunken fans getting rowdy in the crowd at noon. I believe that, and Cory touched on this, I think it would have been better from a recruiting standpoint to show that game for both teams in prime time. But if Texas isn't 100% sure they're going to win, I can see why they took the high road and got out of it. And, you know, despite the fact that we all want it, everybody in Ohio wants to see that be a primetime game. I think what you touched on, Cory, about the fact that we beat them in primetime last time has the Texas faithful on board with this whole idea of, let's keep this game at noon. Let's see if there's any strategic advantage to us playing this at noon. And honestly, guys, I think there is. I think there's some strategic advantage to Texas playing this game at noon. So even though they are gutless cowards, they are smart gutless cowards.
Of course there's a strategic advantage to this. We say the exact same things when we see the schedule come out every year and we play Penn State in their stadium at noon and we know it's not going to be a whiteout.
It's not a whiteout, yeah.
It is a completely different atmosphere. Although the teams are exactly the same, the players are the same, the coaching staff's the same. None of that changes. What changes is the atmosphere. The atmosphere of the stadium is what changes. And Ohio Stadium is no different. Do I think that Ohio State fans are going to be there, be excited, be loud, be proud? Sure. But you put those same people, well, they won't be exactly the same people because a lot of Ohio State fans who are elderly sell those tickets to young people who want to be there, scream and yell and drink all day. Okay, that's the God's honest truth, which is one of the reasons why Gene Smith said what he said years ago about not wanting to play night games in November. You guys remember that comment when he said we don't want to play under the lights in November? It's not a Big Ten thing because a lot of our people travel and they don't want to drive at night.
There were
Cory's
people,
gonna blow a
gasket.
That's another podcast. I don't even want to get into that one.
But you're 100% right, guys. There is indeed a strategic advantage here for Texas. It's the same advantage we have when we go into Happy Valley and we play them at noon and it's not a night game. But I say this, I want Penn State to be a 7:30 kick last Saturday in October for the rest of my life.
Absolutely.
That should be your Halloween game, man. Every single year, it was great. It was great theater. The players loved it. And this could be the exact same thing, and we're not going to get that because of Big Noon Kickoff. Strez, what is your opinion of Fox and Big Noon Kickoff?
Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt are two of my favorite announcers in the game. I think that they put good color and just good commentary on the way that a football game goes along. But I am sick and tired of, I'm in the central time zone. Like that's 11 o'clock for me, right? I haven't even really digested my breakfast by the time that kickoff happens for an Ohio State game because they're always the big noon kickoff. Like I'm getting tired of it. We're the best program in the country. We're the defending national champions this year. There is no reason that we should have more noon games than we have primetime games. And it just drives me nuts. But to kind of that point about this being a little bit of a strategic advantage for Texas, I do think that it could backfire on them just a little bit because whoever it is that we have under center, they're going to be taking their first snaps essentially as the starting quarterback for this program. I am okay with them not having to wait all day and think about the game all day long and they go out there and they take their first snap at noon, and they get that first hit out of the way at noon. It does play into a little bit of being able to have a young guy at quarterback, whether it's Julian Sand, whether whoever it's going to be. I think it plays to our advantage also to have an earlier game with a young quarterback. So I actually think that might backfire on Texas just a little bit. So
Great point. Cory, you want to respond to that idea?
Disagree with everything. No, I'm kidding. But no, I actually want to build off a little bit of what Strez is saying too. And the one thing I think also another thing could backfire in Texas with this decision is our team now knows they're soft. That's now our team's like, oh, they don't want a night game with us. We know why. So it gives us a little bit more of a mental edge, in my opinion. That could be a positive. But I will go on big noon kickoff. Can kick rocks. I can't. It's the worst thing to ever happen to college football. That's over embellishing a little bit, but I can't. Look, I love big games. Eric Podfather, 100% with you. Put that Penn State game at 7:30 for the rest of my life as well. I want those big games. Every time we play a blue blood or a major program, put that at nighttime. Texas Ohio State is absolutely primetime television, and it was in 2005, and it should be now. And it's disgusting that look, Strez, I agree with you. Klatt and Johnson call a good game, but Klatt's defense of Big Noon is indefensible. It's ridiculous. I understand he's a company guy; he's got to do what he's got to do, but he defends it like he came up with it, and I just don't understand it. It's not good for college football at all. In fact, to the further Strez's point about the Central Time Zone, my girlfriend lives on the friggin' and her game starts at 9 a.m. Yeah. So it's like she's just waking up basically like, okay, there's a good football game on. This should be a night game every time under the lights for these kinds of games. Ohio State Rutgers is fine for Big Noon, but Ohio State Texas, that is prime time all the time.
100%. And I made this comment a couple weeks ago. You watch, our 7:30 kick is going to be against Grambling State or Ohio University. Why? Why is it that game? There's no reason why either one of those two games should be a primetime game. Yes, Chris.
It's simple. It's simple, Eric. It's the damn dollar. That's what it comes down to. Ohio State draws viewers. Media money, which is absolutely ruining the game of football. It's allowing the media networks to go out and dictate game schedules, and the implications don't affect the networks. They're still getting their viewers. Who it affects? It affects the teams. It affects the fans. And I'm just waiting for the day we wake up and have to get up at 7 a.m. because Ohio State is playing a game in London. That is what this is coming to. The whole damn NFL light thing is out of control at this point. But that's what it is.
That might be the line of the night. 7 o'clock game in London. Here we come.
That might be the day I stop watching. I'm not even joking. That might do it for me.
Oh my goodness, Scott! I think that the hoodie's available on our website. Is it not, Chris?
No.
No. Okay.
No, this one is not. But it could be.
Okay, I gotcha. All right. Let's go back around one more time here. Let's talk a little bit about that game and the strategicness of that game. Strez, you brought up the fact that, more than likely, we got Julian Sane starting game number 1. Arch Manning is going to be starting. I believe this will be his 4th start as a Longhorn. I believe he started 3 games last season, if I recall correctly. But he's never started a game like this. And I do believe all the pressure is on Arch Manning, not necessarily on Julian Sane here in game number 1. Your thoughts about what a Big Noon kickoff in the shoe for these two quarterbacks would mean?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think Arch has all the pressure. He's got the name, he's got the future of the Texas Longhorns program on his shoulders. He's got for some reason, the consensus future number 1 overall pick in next year's NFL draft. There's so much pressure that is riding on Arch Manning's shoulders. And I think Julian Sayin probably sat there and watched Will Howard play this last season and was like, you know what? I don't have to go out there and be a world beater. I can go out there and play the game and give the ball to the athletes we have at every position and go out there and win. So I think it's, and it being that noon kickoff time, I do think that Arch is going to have, I think also too, when I think about his snaps that he took in that college football playoff game against us last season, he got smacked around a little bit.
He got lit up, brother.
Yeah, I'm pretty convinced that was a fumble. Also, we'll talk about officiating in the next half of the episode. I have some thoughts about some officiating in some previous games that have happened in the college football playoff history with Ohio State. But yeah, he got lit up a little bit, and so I'm wondering if like that's going to be in the back of his head. If one of our edge rushers coming off the edge, because he sat there and watched Jack Sawyer go off the edge and cause that strip sack. You wonder if all of these things are going to play into it, because that was the last game that they played. It wasn't our last game. It was their last game that they played. And it's going to be the first game that they play this season. So I don't know. It's going to be a really interesting, it's going to be interesting to see what Arch does. But I was watching a clip Wednesday or Thursday this last week, and I can't remember who it was. I think it was a former Alabama quarterback, but I can't remember which one it was. And he was throwing out the idea that maybe Sark doesn't quite believe in Arch, because if Arch was good like everybody thinks he's going to be, then why wasn't he starting over Quinn Ewers, who was drafted on the last day of the NFL draft this last season? Right? If Arch was really that next guy, that next Manning that's going to be that massive name at the next level, why wasn't he able to go out there and start over a quarterback who is probably not going to be a starter in the NFL at any point in his career? I thought that was a really interesting point of contention as well. So I don't know. Maybe there's something there that Arch isn't exactly what everybody thinks he is, and he's like being shielded by the name. But it's going to be interesting to see what he does when he comes out on that Saturday.
100%. $50 super chat tonight from Doodah Man. A little help for the library. Nice. Thank you much, man. That means we're up to 490. Chris, we're almost halfway already.
Yes, we are.
Thank you so much for that. Appreciate
we should
that.
be able to get that next one up before the start of the school year.
You know what? I was thinking about that. I think we definitely should push for that. We'll talk about that offline, because that absolutely could happen. Cory, your thoughts on Arch, man, and what this game entails for him and the pressure applied to him, just based off the last name.
Well, I think he's happy that Lathan Ransom went pro. That's for sure. And I agree, Strez, that was a fumble. But the Arch, I think, has all the tools to be really good. I mean, he looks really good when he does play. I think there is, something to question about what Strez is saying. Why couldn't he start over Quinn Ewers? Y'all remember Quinn coming in as like that otherworldly prospect. I kind of wonder if he's a guy who just lit it up in practice, and then he gets in the games and he's like seeing ghosts and shadows and hearing footsteps, and he just because I remember Zach Smith told me one time that JT Barrett in practice used to just light it up. You look really good, and then he gets in the game and he's not doing anything he practiced all week. It was always a little interesting. I'm wondering if that's the same issue with Quinn. Maybe he just got ruined by the time he was in that late in his career. I can't explain it either. Maybe Arch isn't all that good. I don't know. He's looked good to me at times, but the Manning name obviously creates a little bit of bias with him. If his name is Arch Jones, I mean, you probably think he's just another quarterback. The good thing for Julian Sayin is he's a 5-star guy that almost nobody knows about outside of Buckeye Nation. So Arch, as everybody knows because of the name. So yeah, the pressure is 100% on Arch to be a killer right out of week one. Julian Sayin, the only pressure with him is, will Buckeye Nation turn on him after the first incompletion? That's the only question with it. But most of us, I'd say 80% of us, know you got to give him a little bit of time and let him grow. And he's not expected to be CJ Stroud circa 2022, first game or whatever. So I think I hope Ryan Day's beating in his head, like, you don't like stress about sit behind Will Howard. You don't have to be a world beater right now. Just play the game, let it come to you, make the smart choices, and you'll end up with a pretty good stat line, and we'll win the game. And that's all that matters. So that being said, yeah, the pressure is completely on Arch for this game. Maybe you know what? Bouncing off Strez's idea, maybe that's another reason why they don't want it at nighttime. They don't want they don't want Arch under the lights looking like crap because they're a little bit afraid he may be not what he's built up to be yet. So there's another aspect to that, but yeah, because of that name, man, Arch, the Manning name, and Peyton had to ruin it for all of them. So now now it's Eli looks mediocre by comparison, even though he had a really good career. And Arch, sorry, buddy, you gotta live up to what your dad couldn't do because he was injured. So it is what it is.
Ryan Day's Championship Beard has gifted 5 memberships, and one of them was to himself. That's fantastic. One went to You Drink It. What a name, You Drink It. Lee got one, and is it Lucia or Lucia? I don't know. Lucia Channels, we'll say that, was gifted one as well. And then Russ Stallard was gifted a membership. Thank you, Ryan Day's Championship Beard, man. Appreciate that. And then, of course, he had to respond. I received a gift from myself. Fantastic. Chris, all right, man. Arch, what do you think, buddy?
I think he's a good quarterback who has a lot to prove before he's elite. He's carrying around a name that is going to just do nothing but add additional pressure to a guy in his first road test, his first real road test. You know, even though it's not what it would be as a night game, you're still going to have crowd noise that's going to be able to, disrupt the count, disrupt the cadence. We could see false starts. We could see delays. He's got to stay under control emotionally. He can't let the fans, the media, the legacy of his name get to him, because if he does, he is going to falter, and he's going to falter mightily. I think he's a guy, like I said, he's got the tools to be good. Is he elite? I don't know. I haven't seen it. But as just to kind of piggyback off what Cory was saying, Julian Saint's a guy we haven't really seen him go out there and do it on the big stage himself yet either. But you know what? He's got a great scheme. He has the home field crowd that, as long as like Cory said, doesn't turn on him after that first incompletion. And man, the weapons around him, even if he's not elite yet, the weapons around him are. I really feel like this game is advantage Saiyan. I do. Right now, I think this game is advantage Saiyan from a quarterback standpoint. Now, that being said, the one thing we questioned when we lost Will Howard was leadership. I kind of feel like Arch Manning, that might be in his DNA a little bit. That's one spot where maybe he does have an advantage. Maybe that's in the DNA. But I think we're going to have to wait till August 30th to see how that plays out.
Interesting take there. That's good. That's good. I didn't think about that one, Chris. That's good. Do they bring Bevo with them to Ohio? Yes or no?
I'm all up for some steak.
I thought Bevo we grilled him last year already. They had to get a new one.
Well, they got a lot of Longhorns in Texas, so let's get another one and let's eat them. I'm hungry now. Let's go get some steak.
There's a Texas Longhorn farm in the county just east in Licking County. There's a huge Texas Longhorn farm. I'm sure they could probably borrow one of theirs to bring to the stadium, but I don't see that happening. I don't see. Although it'd be hilarious if Brutus jumped up and started riding that bull. Be all right.
And I just hate to be the janitor that day.
Oh, jeez.